Here we go. It's Friday. I missed almost the entire week. Super excited to be here today. Let me go post our link over on the website. The website is jollyrogerukulele.com. From there, you'll get all the sheet music that you need for the rest of your life. You will get a structured program and how to play ukulele properly. You will get, what else should I tell you about it? A link to join. What else should I tell you we do? There's sheet music, there's orchestra, there's just lots of good stuff. Just go there and get on board with us. Shift. I'm posting the link. Bold link. Enter. Edit. Settings. Open a new window. Update and update. Let me tell you what we're playing today. As soon as it refreshes. Let's make sure it works. So today, theoretically, we're going to play, we're going to review the week one stuff from book one. So in other words, we're going to make sure everybody's playing Frere Jacques at a good level, and then we're also going to be playing, just looking at the other pieces of information, and then talking about printing out the Strumming in the Key of A Major booklet. Then, I don't have mine anywhere within sight. I wonder where mine is. Did I put it in here? Aha! All right, we're in good shape. Then, for book two, we'll be playing Melville. Let's see, Melville Castle was yesterday was Minstrel Boy, Melville Castle, and Last Row of Summer looks like a week of Celtic music. And then for the book three, we did Beethoven's Ode to Joy on Monday. We're going to be diving into Morning Mood, which is going to change the game when it comes to ukulele music. Well, at least thinking about it. So, sit down, get your ukulele out, get tuned up. Let me go post this on Twitter real quick, and then we'll get going. jollyrogerukulele.com backspace link upload ukulele Fanny. I gotta make some more of those, and then tweet. All right, so we've tweeted. Yep, there we go. So let's see. Oh, everybody's here. How exciting. Vic is in from cloudy up in Eugene. Okay, I guess that's not surprising. Diane, we missed your birthday. I was all prepared to say happy birthday to you. And then we didn't end up going to harmonica class that day. And one thing led to another. Anyway, happy birthday, Diane. I hear you're 29 again. Ronnie is in, 90 degrees in New Mexico. Laurel is in. She's a local here in Denver. In Denver, it's a hot day. Another second day in a row of record-setting heat. It's supposed to be in the 80s. We're in the upper 90s. The world is coming to an end, I'm afraid. Sandy is in. Good afternoon. She's in from Upper Michigan. And Michelle is in from beautiful Rockaway Beach. It's raining up there today, so I guess that makes sense. All right, guys, those of you who are newer, you have really one job this week, and that's to learn how to play Frere Jacques. Those of you who've been around a while have two jobs. One, to play Frere Jacques like it is, like it's a part of your DNA, and to two, be able to share that with other people. That's the basis for everything we do. I use that song to teach you how to play tablature on all of the instruments I teach. If I taught one of the other instruments with frets, I would teach it using Frere Jacques. It's the perfect song to get people up and running reading tablature. It takes about 10 minutes, right? It takes about another 2-3 weeks before you get any good at it. And then it takes, 6 months or so before you can read and play just about anything. So let's talk very briefly about the list of things you were supposed to look at. I think it was on Tuesday. I spent a week. I haven't been able to get to class, as you guys could tell. On Wednesday was the day. So several things that I think are important. The list of stuff from Wednesday. One, there's a Colorado specific page. If you're not in Colorado, you don't need to look at that. Frankly, if you are in Colorado, it's really a pre-pandemic piece of information. None of that's really going on right now. But it does give you the 3 websites that I use for music on there. Ultimate Guitar, when I just need to know what the lyrics and chords or something, I go there. I don't use that site for anything else. It's just a double check for me. MuseScore, that's something that we're going to be working on over the next year or so to get a planned program in place for people to be able to write their own sheet music, and you want to have that in your computer and be messing around with it probably. And then Music Notes is where I buy sheet music, so whenever I need to do a new song, I don't go get a free chords thing off of the internet. I go buy a decent piece of sheet music. Another thing on there, my phone number and the address of our local of my studio is on there, so all that's on there. All right. The other piece of information, doing ukulele right. That's the piece of paper with the minion on it. Here's the big takeaway. Stuart's doing it right. He's got a strap on. He's got his ukulele about here. His hands are here. You notice you don't see his thumb. Okay, this is the correct way to hold your ukulele. You notice I always have a tuner on or nearby. A Snark ST8. I have it listed on the list over there. The Snark clip-on tuner. Everybody should own one. Hey, Jacqueline, welcome in. She's a local, you guys. The only rule in ukulele, I don't want to see your thumb. Your thumb should go here. If your thumb is up here, that's wrong. Okay, that's wrong. It's wrong. Okay, it's the only thing I know in music that is true or not true. That this is right and this is wrong. If you're playing an electric guitar, we can have a discussion about the wrongness of this. But outside of that, there is no time on ukulele when your thumb needs to be up here. If your thumb is way up here, you are making your life harder. Okay, get your thumb down here, pat your thumb on the back of the neck, and then it just falls wherever your middle finger is. That falls up and down there. That is going to make your life easier. If you'll just do that one thing right off the bat, you will be happier down the road. The strap makes playing way easier. You're not going to need a capo. You're not going to need a kit pick. You can throw those away. You already have whatever ukulele you have in front of you is this ukulele you're using right now. Most adults should be playing a tenor. That's the size I have. There's also baritone, which is the next size up if you have particularly big hands. Everybody probably ought to own a tenor and a baritone, and you probably ought to own one soprano. So when you go on vacation, you can take it along with you. And because you're not really going to play, you're going to mess around with it. Strings, you need to change them once a year, guys. If it's been longer than, if you don't have to tune your ukulele up when you pick it up, your strings are dead. Okay, that's the giveaway every time. Strings last about a year if you play moderately. I know one guy in the guitar program, and he plays so much he changes his strings every week. Okay, so that tells you how serious players have to deal with these plastic strings. They're wonderful. The modern materials are incredible, but they do wear out. So just plan on that. Low G, you could talk about that a little bit. Don't put a metal wound low G string onto a regular ukulele. It breaks the ukulele. You can put a plastic one on, but they just don't sound good. So when somebody asks me about low G, I want to be clear that yeah, you could put a plastic low G string on there. They just don't sound that great. Or you can go buy a low G ukulele. They're built a little bit stronger for the metal wound on there. Let's see, next things on there. Make sure your ukulele is about 60-degree angle. Don't let it fall horizontal. That's not good. And don't play it like this. I've had lots of students who do this. Right? It's easy to see what you're doing, but it's not what you want. Okay. Memorize that you have the dots on 5, 7, and 10. Usually something at 12 as well, but not always. And if you're all tensed up and weird and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, it reduces your joy in music, so don't do that. That's a funny way to put it, but just don't do that. Other things we could have and should have talked about yesterday, tuning your instrument. George Clooney eats apples. Let's make sure everybody's on the same notes. That's your G. Here's your C. Here's your E. There's your A. Now, with ukulele, guys, they're going to be out of tune a lot. And don't lose a lot of sleep over it being dead on exactly right. Okay, if you're performing in a concert on television on a Saturday night with, Bono and Sting and who else is still alive? Paul. If you're performing with those guys, you want your ukulele dead on in tune. Other than that, get it close. Enjoy your life. There's a couple other pieces of paper on here that are sort of important. There's one called Getting to Know Your Fretboard. That's where I line out where all the notes are on your fretboard, ukulele fretboard, baritone fretboard. You don't need to know that information. I give that out to people who took music in another instrument and they're pretty sure they have to know that information. You don't need to know any of that information. I just provide it for those people who need to worry. Okay, so it's there for you. There is a ukulele chord chart. Sorry guys, I've never done the baritone chord chart. I'm going to get it done. It's just about 3 days of mind-numbing copy pasting in order to create these chord charts, and I just haven't had it yet. But the chord chart there is really, 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 really helpful for you as you are probably getting into your intermediate level play. I put a practice log on there and the progress tracker. You probably ought to use both of those, and then here's our moment. Hey, Darwin, we were waiting for you. Here's our moment. We're going to play Frere Jacques. Okay? I want all of you who've been around a while to be able to play this without the sheet music in front of you. That's how important it is. 0240-0240-457-457-797-540, 797-540, first string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string. You should be able to say that in your sleep. Okay? If you can't, use your sheet music. All right? We're going to go nice and slow. The first time through, we'll play 797-540 at half speed, and then the second time through, we'll go at full speed. And I'll tell you a trick about playing full speed. Okay, I'm going to talk to the book 3 people about the exact same thing today. From the top, 0240-0240, and then 457-457, 797-540, 797-540. First string, second string, first string. We go 1, 2, ready, play. 4, ring finger, 'and then you're supposed to repeat according to the way the sheet music reads. Now, if you did that and things went great, you're in good shape. If you were able to associate what's on the paper with where it's showing up on your fretboard, that's a big deal because it's upside down, right? On the tablature, the notes are on the top, the string, the first string, which feels like it's on the bottom of your ukulele, is on the top of the paper. It will take a little bit of time for your brain to turn that over and start playing that normally. Here's the reason why we always start this way. If you start on piano, they don't teach you how to play chords and nothing else with your left hand. The first thing they do is they teach you how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, and so you're actually playing melody. We do the same thing in this style of ukulele because that's what you're going to need to be able to do. Yeah, you're going to be able to strum and sing. I'm not worried about that. If those of you who like to sing, you're going to be fine. In fact, we're going to teach you way smarter ways than strumming. But what often gets neglected in ukulele lessons is, what if I don't want to sing? And if you don't want to sing, you have to learn how to play them melodically. And frankly, you should want to do it anyway because it makes you sound better. And so we start at Frere Jacques. Let's do it one more time. This time, however, when we get to 797 540, I want to play it twice as fast so that it's in proper timing. Here's the word to the wise, and I'll tell book 3 this too. However fast you can play the hardest part, you then subtract for the rest of the song to make sure that you play the rest of the song slow enough that you can play the fast part with some abilities. Okay? So in other words, music is relative. Just because that's the fast section doesn't mean you have to play it fast. It just means it's twice as fast as the previous section. on this song. And that means if you play the beginning part a little slower, it's going to make the fast part a little easier, right? So it's all relative. Let's go through this one more time, and we'll play it at full speed, nice and slow. So, oh, Andre, from Hamburg, Germany. It is raining cats and dogs, so I have enough time for ukulele. That is such an English statement, isn't it? It's raining cats and dogs. I can just imagine in Germany them trying to explain that if you ever have you learn a word in a foreign language and you learn what it means, what it actually stands for. You're like, I don't think I know what that means at all. You imagine you're in Germany and they say it's raining cats and dogs, and they're like, what does that mean? And they're like, well, it means that there are cats and dogs falling out of the sky. And people would be like, how does that possibly mean that it's raining a lot? I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? All right. Glad you're here, Andre. Good to see you, my man. From the top, full speed on the whole parts, but slow. 1, 2, ready, play. Open 2, 4, open, open 2, 4, open 4, index, middle, pinky, index, middle, pinky, ring finger, go fast. Ring, pinky, ring, middle, index, open. Ring, pinky, ring, middle, index, open. First string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string. Now, when you're taking that basic program, right? We played this 797540 twice as fast as we played it before, but not really, right? We played it about the same speed as we played it before, but we slowed the rest of the song down, and suddenly, you can play the hard parts. With this song, I want you to really study it this weekend, because next week we start digging into scales, we start digging into all that stuff, and I'm having a good handle on this part. It's going to make a difference. Now, the one thing we did not talk about this week, which is important, is the chord. Okay, and so I want to take your index finger, third string up. So remember, first string is on the bottom. 1, 2, third string up, first fret. Okay, it's going to go right there, and then your middle finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth string up, which is the one closest to your face, string number 4, in the second fret. Okay, squeeze real hard. Okay. Now, in the beginning, I tell you, squeeze hard, really, crank down, because you want to get clean tones. As your hand gets stronger and your skills get better, you're not going to squeeze near as hard as you are right now. But it's better to squeeze a little hard in the beginning and then lighten up later than to get. Okay, if you get that, you get it. It's just how you're playing it right at the moment. But if I'm not pressing down hard enough, I get a dead sound, right? So squeeze down just a little bit harder. That's your A chord. Okay. Now, I don't know if we talked about this on Monday or not. Probably not. Maybe we did. Instead of strumming, right? That's what you do when you go to the strum along groups in your neighborhood, and that's super fun. We're going to be needing you to be a better right hand thinker. Okay. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Each finger is. Don't use your pinky. Thumb, index, middle, ring gets a string. Okay. And then we're going to just collapse your hand, just like that. Okay. Okay. Thumb down, and all the other 3 fingers come up. So thumb above, index underneath the third string, middle finger underneath the second string, ring finger underneath the first string, and just pluck like that. Okay. This is our replacement for strumming. This is going to turn out to be much more valuable than you would ever begin to imagine. Okay, here we go. Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Now let's speed it up. Go twice as fast. 1, 2, Sonele Martinez, Sonele Martinez, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Okay, so that's going to turn out, that's a replacement for what we usually do on ukulele. Frere, do, re, boom, right? That's what we normally do on ukulele. And if anything I would like to get stopped, it's that, right? And I'd like to have a rule. Hey, you can't just strum and sing anymore. You have to have some sort of style, some sort of deeper understanding of your instrument. They're not calling me, by the way, the ukulele police, the government of ukulele doesn't call me up and ask me what I think. In fact, if they did, they'd be like, we're not doing it your way, Gary. What this will do, okay, is get your hand where it's starting to feel comfortable so that we can eventually turn it into Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques. You see what I'm doing is I'm taking this program, I'm moving everybody down one string, and then I'm just using thumb, index, and middle, and then I'm plucking them individually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all that will come. We got 3 different lessons where we just really talk about how you take this shape, this claw that we're using, and divide it up into pieces. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with it, right? But there's a lot more that you can do if you don't do that. And so what we want to be able to do is do everything on ukulele. And so, yeah, you'll get this. I'm not worried about that, right? But it's getting these guys to operate both together as a type situation, and also to get them operating independent of one another. And so we'll be working on that over the next 30 lessons. And you're already on lesson number 9. We start on lesson number 9, actually. So there's really only 20 more lessons. But by the time we're done with that list on the ukulele tab, you'll be killing it. So now let's do real quick. Let's go grab a baritone, and I'm going to give you a different. Those of you who have baritones, this is your moment. Those of you who do not have baritones, you have to learn how to strum along to the baritone. Okay, so this is baritone ukulele. We love around these parts because it's everything that you learn on ukulele applies directly to baritone, and you get a little bit lower voicing. And especially for those of you who are male singers that are bass or baritone singers like me, real kind of, our voices, we're terrified of singing, right? So we sing real low and quiet, hoping nobody listens. It just is, the nice part about baritone is it's going to come in a little bit underneath your voice. For men, especially with the ukulele, it's pitched in such a way where often you are singing below it. It's a little bit higher pitched than your voice, and it's not really how we like music to be. We like this instrument for lower singers, low tenors and baritones and so on, because this one will stay below the pitch of your voice, generally speaking. Let's play the melody. Same as on the ukulele, 0240-0240-457-457, 797-540-797-540, open, first string, second string, first string. But on ukulele, in order to play with us, you have to play an E string, or an E chord, because this shape here is an A on baritone. I'm sorry, it's an A on ukulele, but it's an E on baritone. So I'm going to be holding that same shape at one point. Okay, when I hold that, it comes out as an E chord. And on ukulele, you get to do your very first bar chord. Okay, and isn't that exciting? On day 2, you get to learn your bar chord. This is your bar. Chink. You're going to use that. You're going to go down here to the 4th fret. You're going to cover everybody, all four strings, okay? And when you strum, and then you're going to squeeze real tight. Just do that for the moment. Squeeze real tight, and you should get, okay, but yours is in a different key, but just grab everything. Okay, you're trying to get everybody clean. Pretty good chance you're going to hear this. Okay, and that's okay. That's how you're playing it right now. Squeeze a little harder. Hopefully get a few of them down. And then take your pinky, put it up on 7, just the first string, number 7. Okay, now again, you're in a different key, so yours will sound different. But you're trying to get each string clean. Okay, that's what you're trying for. If it comes out like this, it just means that's how you're playing it this week. Next week, it'll sound better. Okay, that's your E chord. give me a nice pluck. 1, 2, 3, 4 on every single beat, and I will play the melody. If you are on ukulele or if you're on baritone, let's have it. Okay, 1, 2, ready, play. Now we've played a duet together. Let me tell you one thing you might have done. What is the exact tuning of your ukulele? High G. High G is G, C, E, A. George Clooney eats apples. That's the tuning of ukulele. Okay, I use the standard American tuning, and because ukulele is an American instrument, we're counting Hawaii as part of America. I use the Hawaiian tuning, GCEA. If you are in Canada or New Zealand, there will be a tendency to run into D tuning, which is B, GCEA, B. No, it's D, F sharp. It's not coming to me right. A, D, F sharp, B is what the Canadian tuning is. A, D, F sharp, B, and you'll run into that. We call it the Canadian tuning. Back in the day, it was very normal to tune ukulele in lots of different tunings. A lot of times on cheap ukuleles, you tune them up to D because they sound better. We don't do that as much anymore because quality of ukuleles has come way, way up, and so we don't do a ton with D tuning. But standard Hawaiian tuning on a decent ukulele, GCEA, George Clooney eats apples. And of course, as with all stringed instruments, there's lots of other tunings that you can mess around with. I tend not to do that because I just haven't quite figured out what the point would be, but there are other tunings available. On baritone, it's dog bone, D, G, B, E. Dark, gloomy baritones explode, right? Dog bone, D, G, B, E. That's the baritone tuning. Same as the first 4 strings on a guitar in standard tuning. Okay, again, when we talk standard tuning, we're talking generally standard. We're not talking about the only way to do it. Hey, Rita, welcome in. Another beautiful day, 73 and sunny up in Chicago. Chicago is winning today, guys. All right, you guys, the one thing I did want to talk about, when you are plucking, you know how we go, let me give you the E chord. You grab your E chord on ukulele. I'll grab my E chord on baritone. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it. Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. Now what you don't want to do is sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines. That's when you're playing with the melody, and you don't really want to do that. You want to do it with the beat. Sonnez les matines. So don't change the speed at which you're doing this. Just because the music speeds up doesn't mean your beats speed up. You still stay with your 4 beats per measure and just keep that steady. That's going to make a big difference. Those of you guys who like to sing, if you're playing along and you're saying, sonnez les matines, it's just never going to sound right. But if you're saying sonnez les matines, then the voice is still being the dominant feature of that presentation, and your ukulele is serving both the chords and as the drummer. Sonnez les matines are really helpful. And then down the road, when you're using arpeggio picking, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding dang dong, ding dang dong. That way your arpeggios, they don't need to speed up or slow down or do anything weird just because the music is doing something crazy. So thanks. Hawaii fits perfectly. Hawaiian tuning. I think we can generally say with at least about 85% certainty that most ukuleles in Hawaii are tuned George Clooney eats apples. But guys, there's lots of other choices, right? GCA is probably the most common, I'd say, worldwide. D tuning, which again, A, D, F sharp, B is a regional tuning that you'll see in some areas. Not a bad idea to at least know about both of them. They're tuned I mean, it's the same arrangement. It's the same with baritone. I mean, DGBE is exactly the same relative arrangement as GCEA. It's just lower down, right? So there we go. All right, guys. For the weekend, you have one job. Two jobs. You have to play Frere Jacques. Okay, try to do it every day. Okay, both with chords and by the melody. And then here's the big challenge: you got to go find a printer that can do front and back. Okay, and can do short edge binding. When you go to print this document off the website, if you don't click short edge binding, every other page will be upside down. This is one of the finest technological experiments I have. Printers have been around since the 80s, right? And so probably 80s. Can you print this out correctly? Print it out double-sided, short edge binding. That's the trick. If you do that, it comes out like a little booklet. Okay, here's what's nice about this. There's 4 chords on the front of this. We're going to learn those next week, and then there's 34 songs in here. So guess what we're going to be doing next week? We're going to be doing a lot of singing and strumming. Okay, but we're not going to strum. Okay, we already did. If I do 3 Blind Mice, it's also an A. Let me put an A chord on this baritone. 3 blind mice, 3 blind mice, see how they run. Right, that's what you're going to be working on. And so get this little book printed out it doesn't matter if it's ukulele or baritone. They're all the same. My guitar one's the same too. So they're all with the key of A. All in the key of A. That way you can play together with other people. And so I think there's 32 songs, 32 I think is what at last count. And we're going to dig into this book pretty heavy next week. It's, I think, one of the coolest things I've ever done, and it's nothing, right? It's just gives you a chance to get really good at thinking. When we teach ukulele, we're always busy teaching chords, and that's just a waste of your time and our time as teachers. What we really need to be doing is teaching you how to deal with your right hand. And if I can get that correct for you sooner, it's going to make you a much better player much more quickly than if I try to show you what all the chords are. Okay, when I first started teaching, I knew that showing people chords first wasn't the way to go, but guess what? Because all the other teachers, I was like, okay, I want to teach chords first. Over the years, I figured out that is exactly the backward way to teach it. Let's learn how to play melody, and then let's learn how to run your right hand, and then we'll talk about all this chord nonsense that we have to talk about. All right, so book 1, you're all set for the week. If you want to sneak out, that's totally cool. You shouldn't, because we're going to play some music. Book 2 players. Sorry, I apologize about this week. This is just, I know these are going to happen. I still just can't believe it happens. Where things just get way out of control really fast. And so thank you all for being patient with me. Please know that I am walking around with a huge sense of guilt every single day. And so hopefully my sense of guilt is paying off in your life as some sort of karmic excellence for you. Last Rose of Summer, ukulele style. This is in my mind one of the prettiest songs maybe ever, right? It's just beautiful. I don't know what it is about. And here's another one, guys. AABA is the structure. Hey, Linda, good to see you. In from Vancouver, cloudy, but that's just fine. After a very hot summer, huh, Linda? You'll take a cloudy day for sure. Last Rose of Summer. It's an AABA format. So the first section, first 4 measures, repeated almost, I think, identically in the next 4 measures. And then measures 9, 10, 11, 12 have a little bit of a variation. And then back to 13, 14, 15, and 16, which is identical. Okay. In my composition class today, I got in trouble. Not trouble. We had a discussion about whether I was repeating stuff too much, and I'm like, well, I teach ukulele. Everything's AABA. So I have to learn to be more I have to vary more in my composition I'm working on, which I am questioning whether that's true or not. It's art, right? You always question everything. Last Rose of Summer. If you're strumming, if you're new, D chord, G chord, and A chord. And then the only other chord down there, B minor. Okay, let's play it 2 times. It's supposed to be played 3 times through. Let's play it 2 times through. That's plenty. Let me go put this into my thingamabob, and then it'll skip. Let me go grab. Maybe I already put it in here. Book 2. That's guitar. That'll never work. Let's try book 2 ukulele. H-I-J, Last Rose of Summer ukulele. Here we go. I'm going to play the tough uke. We're going to play through it twice. Here we go. 1, 2. Oops, sorry. Go back to the top. Isn't that lovely? That's a nice song. Let's play it on baritone real quick. That's Scottish, by the way. Think of everything as being from Ireland. It's not. Should be. Let's see. All right, let's go grab Last Rose of Summer and baritone. Now with baritone, right, we automatically get a lower voicing. Everything's exactly the same, just a lower voicing. And ukulele players, these are pretty nice chords for you. A chord, shape, D chord, the E chord, I wouldn't do the E chord, right? That's way down here. That's super unpleasant. I would just put an E7 on those. If it's not the main chord, if the song is in the key of E, you're not going to get away with using E7. But if it's the complementary chord, in other words, if the song is in A, you'll be just fine playing an E7. Now, if you want to get fancy, right, and some of you do, here's your A chord up here, bar on 4, pinky on. I'm sorry, there's your E chord, pinky on 7, which means that you should play an F shape in front of your bar. That's your A chord, okay? And then your D chord, of course, you just slide down and do that, okay? So D chord, and think about this from what we talked about over the summer. If this is C chord, 3rd fret, 1st string, and you put a bar on, you can just walk it up, okay? There's a C sharp, there's a D, D sharp, more popularly known as E flat, There's an E chord. Okay, you've done this one a million times. 5, 5, 5, 8. That's your F chord, and 2 more up on 7. It's a G chord. Okay, so very handy little shape to get to know. And so if you decide, yep, I am definitely doing E chord, you're going to take your E chord. Now, rather than jumping all the way down here for A, and then jumping up for D, and then jumping up for E, and then jumping somewhere else for F sharp minor, right? Just use it as a bar, and add the F shape on. That's your A chord. Bunk. Okay, easy as pie. D chord still down here. And F sharp minor is interesting because really, in order to make that a bar chord, you're really going to be thinking, all right, here's my E minor chord. Let me make it a bar chord by covering this top string. E minor, next one up, F minor, next one up, F sharp minor. Well, look what you really got. You're a bar on 4, D minor shape in front, which is really just your F shape at your pinky. And there's F sharp minor. Okay, just a little bit higher voicing. That's how bar chords work, guys. Super powerful tools that continue to be mindful of. Last word of the summer from the top. 1, 2. Top. Beautiful. All right, last row of the summer. Isn't that nice? That's a nice tune. All right, let's go grab. Why is my little guy not working? Next song. Let's see. That was from. Oh, we never did Wednesday. We should have done Melville Castle. Sorry about missing the last couple of days, guys. It's been a little crazy. Let's go grab Melville Castle and Melville Castle. I learned from. We have a giveaway table in our garage, and people put weird stuff on there. And one time somebody put favorite Irish hits or something like that on there, and the entire album is terrible except for one song on there, and it's this song Melville Castle. And the guy who sings it has a voice like butter. It's one of them. I mean, I'm like, daggone, that guy can really sing. And so I years ago made the guitar group do this song, and I walked in and I says, this is how I work, by the way. This is salesmanship. I walk in and I go, this is the best song from Ireland ever, and it's about a real castle and blah 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 blah. I made this huge deal out of it, and then we started playing. About 2 weeks in, they're like, I don't like this song. So just so you know, if I'm ever hanging around and I say this is the greatest thing ever, probably you are not going to be like, oh God, here we go. We're going to have to do something stupid. It's not a stupid song. It's really lovely, but it sounds better if you hear the original. Melville Castle. Where are you? Melville Castle. Melville Castle. All right. So we're going to do baritone first time. Melville Castle baritone. All right. Oh, Willie's gone to Melville Castle, boots and spurs and all, to bid the ladies all farewell before he goes to war. Oh, Willie's young and blithe and bonny, loved by one and all. Oh, what will all the lassies do when Willie's gone away? Okay, that's it. Now you're supposed to do it like 7 times or some crazy amount. We're just going to do that first verse. Then we'll play it on the other instrument. I will promise you that if you commit to this song and tell everybody it's the greatest song ever, it's an earworm. Honestly, once you get it in your head, you're like, oh God, I can't get it back out. So let's go nice and slow. Let's just play it one time through, and then if we play it well, then we'll switch to the other instrument. Grab your chords: G chord, C chord, D7. Okay, now I think that's it. I think it's just 3 chords. All right, chords first, please. Okay, remember the 4-part pattern. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Willie's gone to Melville Castle, boots and spurs and all, to bid the ladies all farewell before he goes to war. 2, 3. Oh, Willie is young and blithe and bonny, loved by one and all. Oh, what will all the lassies do when Willie's gone to war? 2, 3. Okay. You can tell it was written by a man, by the way. And because the girls are all weeping and crying and competing against one another while Willie's going to war. And then in the last verse, he comes riding back to kiss them all before he goes. And he'll be everyone's husband, right? He's that dashing. So a man wrote this. Women are like, I don't know. I just wish he'd go. Seriously, we got things to do. The key with this one is you repeat the first verse every other time. So you play the first verse, then you play the second verse, then your first verse and second verse. And so when you have time, read through the verses. We're not going to do that. Let's play either melody or tough uke. And of course, if you're on ukulele, you're on chords. 1, 2, 3. That's it, right? Just do it 14 times through and you're all set. I think it's total 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 7 or 8 times through is how many times. 7 times. That's what the repeat says. So, super cute song. Let's play it on ukulele. Most of you guys have ukuleles, and so it's more fun. You're gonna. I promise. I promise. This song is totally great. All right, let's play it one more. Ukulele style. Everything's the exact same. Pay attention, guys, especially when we get to book 3 and we start talking about moon mood, morning mood. 16th notes, 8th notes mixed all together. It can get very confusing very quickly. We're going to talk about counting music a little bit today in book 3, but I'm not a huge music counter. I want you to know what it is. I want you to know kind of how to do it, but I really want you to hear the music and feel the music and make it happen and not spend too much time stressing out about that. Those of you who are type A personalities, you know who you are. You're like, oh God, I got to get everything just so. But in music, getting things just so is often about hearing the music, about hearing what's going on in there. So let's talk about your chords. C chord, F chord, and G7. Isn't that great? Let's go. Oh, Willie's gone to Melville Castle, boots and spurs and all, to bid the ladies all farewell before he's gone away. 2, 3. Oh, Willie's gone, then by then Bonnie, loved by one and all. Oh, what will all the lassies do when Willie's gone to war? Okay. So I did 2 or 3 different strum patterns in there, 3 or 4 I think. Sometimes up and down. Try that when you start a new song. Try the 4-finger pluck, plunk, 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 plunk. Try an arpeggio, dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, when you're doing your arpeggios, you have to look up at the meter. In this case, 4/4. So you can either do Oh, Willie's gone to Melville Castle, boots and spurs and all. And that's in 4, or you can do it in 8. Oh, Willie's gone to Melville Castle, boots, spurs and all, to bid the ladies all farewell before he's gone to war. So be thinking about that as you are approaching a piece of music, and you know you're going to sing it. This needs to be smart. Okay, let's play the melody, or the tough you baritone players. You're on chords. C chord, dun 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 dun. F chord, love it. Okay, probably going to sound like this. That's what F chord on baritone sounds like. And then G7 is just a single note here. Okay. All right, let's make this happen. You guys know these chords. You know this thing. You can do this. Don't worry overly about the crazy 16th note thing there. With 16th notes, generally speaking, we just play slower, and it's fine. 1, 2, 3. Back to the top, one time more. Second ending. Here's your big finish. Yeah, when you do a silly song like that, do a silly ending. Melville Castle. I love that song. All right, and then very quickly, guys, I know we're rushing a tiny bit, but I want to get all 3 of them in. And I apologize again for missing yesterday. It's just gotten loose on me pretty quick here. Minstrel Boy. Minstrel Boy is another really lovely one. We may only have time to do the ukulele version, but the baritone version, obviously the same thing. Different key, and equally lovely. Minstrel Boy, please. Those of you who haven't broken down and bought a baritone yet, give some thought to it. These old Irish tunes are quite simply extraordinary tunes, and how come that didn't come up? Book 2, wrong book. Book 2, Minstrel Boy. It shouldn't be there. Why? I just put it in there. Where did it go? Ha ha ha. Am I losing my mind? Minstrel Boy. Come on. JK. It didn't go. Where did it go? That's so weird. Minstrel Boy. Oh, I put Misty over there. Oh, that's why. That doesn't go there. Sorry. Crumb. Minstrel Boy. Ukulele solo. Baritone solo. All right, let's do the minstrel. Let's do the ukulele version first. That's all we'll have time for. All right, Minstrel Boy again. AABA. First section, second section. Minstrel Boy. This is one. There's a great YouTube video of a guy kind of in a military uniform just playing an Irish drum, and he's got this amazing voice. The minstrel boy to the war is gone, in the ranks of death you will find him. And then we repeat that same thought. His father's sword he has girded on, and his wild harp slung behind him. Okay, anytime you see songs where your voice has to do this, you know that I shouldn't be singing them. And then measure 9. Way high, right? Land of song, said the warrior bard, the world betrays thee. And then it goes back to the main idea. One sword at least thy rights shall guard, one faithful harp shall praise thee. I like this because it's about music, of course. But just don't fall in love with the Minstrel Boy too much, because he's not making it to the end of the song. All right. I think, right? Doesn't he die in the end of this? The harp, or maybe his harp gets broken. The foeman's chain. The minstrel. Oh yeah, the minstrel fail. Right. The harp is fine. the minstrel didn't make it. All right. F chords. Okay. Those of you on baritone, your F chord looks like this. Ukulele, if you want to do chords, this. B flat on a baritone is this. Okay. On ukulele, it's your favorite chord. And C chord. Okay, baritones yours look like an F, and I think that's it. I think there's just, again, another 3-chord song, a whole lot of music in 3 chords. Let's hear it. 1, 2, 3. Bar, B flat, pinky. Chord, B flat, there's that cool note there. Let's go to the top. Whoops. Second ending. Okay. Has a nice march feel to it. I think on ukulele, you're almost better off playing that slower, right? Letting maybe a little less of a march. If you're playing this as a vocalist, the minstrel boy to the war has gone, right? You're really pounding it out. But as a ukulele player, I might be a little bit more soft on it. The minstrel boy to the war is gone. And by the way, not unimportantly, these chords are all up the neck, as you see, and so there's a lot of work to be done on what's a relatively simple song. It's absolutely takes full advantage of the ukulele. You go all the way down to a 0, right? C string, right? That's one of the notes you have to play, and then you also have to play this note. Okay, so that's taking a full advantage of your ukulele, always one of the challenges with our instrument is fitting songs onto it, and so that one fits on just barely, and it feels really good. Okay, there is book 3. We got through all of them. Sorry, we didn't get the baritone version of that down. Here's a clue. Baritone version, exactly the same as the ukulele version. Okay, just sounds deeper. All right, guys. Let's talk book 3, and let's talk about book 4, right? Which is coming on Monday. Let's talk about lots of different things. So first of all, one, I apologize for missing yesterday. It turns out that I'm having a hard time keeping up. So do know that there may be more times when I'm going to be missing. I'm going to try like heck not to. I am very good about taking full advantage of all of the time that I have available. But sometimes there's just more than I can get to. You should know this is a phone. When you get a text, you're supposed to think it's important and you write it back. I have about 30 in here for a week or more. So please know I'm not ignoring you. I just can't keep up. I'm pretty caught up on email, but not on anything else. So there we go. Lynn made it in. She had a beautiful day in New Jersey. They had a terrible storm earlier in the month, and so it's nice to hear New Jersey's shaking out. And Amy is here. You want to know? I'll tell you a story. You want to know Amy? Go ahead, look at her. Amy C. Just look right at her. We had an appointment last Sunday. She forgot it. I forgot it. I pretended that I didn't forget it, and so now we're scheduled for some point in the future, I think. I don't know if we rescheduled or not, but probably on email. I don't know. Hopefully I'm going to see Amy here pretty soon. She's bringing her instrument up to rehearsal on Monday. Let's talk about that. Missed yesterday too. Don't feel bad. Oh, did you miss yesterday? Okay. I do feel bad, you guys. Just if that's helpful at all, I do feel bad. Now, let's talk about two things. One thing is about the music, and two is about jazz. I have finished 2, I'm getting ready to post 2. I want to post 3. So those of you who are committed around here, like if you're at this level, you're committed. You've already drank the Kool-Aid. Hopefully you have a subscription. You've paid PayPal, and you will have a subscription to the website. On the orchestra page, that's where you're going to get the sheet music. Don't go look yet because none of it's posted, but I'm thinking we'll have 3 songs for Monday night, and I gotta tell you, I couldn't possibly be all of me. I finished, and I absolutely adore what is there, and I'm almost finished proofreading Harlem Nocturne, which again, remember how hard that was to play as a solo piece. As a group piece, it's going to be like a walk in the park, and it's going to sound so cool. I'm dividing up all those chords among the orchestra, and it should sound really, really sweet. And none of this stuff should be hard to play. So if you're on the fence about joining orchestra, here's what you should think about. One, if you're in Denver, yeah, you're going to come and you're going to hang out with us. But if you're not in Denver, or you don't feel safe coming and hang out with us, one of the two, which is perfectly fine, you're going to sit down online. You're going to play along just as if you were with us, and you're going to know whether you're playing well or not. And it doesn't. And as you guys know, it does not matter how well you play in ukulele. Truthfully, it does not matter how well you play in life. It matters that you play. It matters that you keep showing up and you keep trying, because what you can do this year is vastly inferior to what you will be able to do next year, and hopefully is a whole lot better than what you did last year, right? So that's how music works. I think at some point, I can imagine you topping out, but it's not. You may not be there yet. Carol made it in from Western Colorado. It's super hot here in Colorado right now. We're in record-setting temperatures. So now that's orchestra. Get a subscription to the website. Come join us. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be really, really fun. The music's going to be pretty easy to play, honestly, except for parts, which will be super hard. And then, but it'll be faster than when you play it. And you'll get that sense of having a whole large group of ukulele players all doing something a little bit different. And it should be a really fun season. I'm super excited about the music that's coming together. And those of you who are type A, you may have to wait longer to get it than you wish, and I get it. I understand that's super frustrating, but I have to proofread every single note, and 100% of every single note almost in this concert will be on me, and I just don't want to waste your time. So I do proofread this stuff pretty carefully. I go through and I try often to adjust the fingering and all that stuff. So it is more work than you'd think. Now. That's book 4. Book 3, Morning Mood. Guys, we're going to be doing classical music for the rest of the season into December when we switch over to Christmas music. And with classical music, the thing is you got to be specific. You got to get it right. You don't really got to get it right, but it's better to get it right it's better to get it pretty close to right than terrible. So unlike Irish music where you sort of get it close and it's going to sound amazing, with classical music you pretty much got to get it about on. And so here let's turn to where the problem is going to be. Go to measure 30. Okay, and here's the problem. Okay, measure 30, 7, 7, 8. That's what you're going to be playing, right? So a little mini bar on 7, middle finger on 8. All that is if you take your B flat, take your finger off, now it's a G minor 7, and then you slide all the way up to 7, becomes an E7. Lynn's into Morning Mood. Good. Okay. Notice what you're dealing with here. 16th notes. Now, don't kid yourself. Just because the 16th note is written down doesn't mean it's fast. It just means it's faster than the 8th notes, and it's fast, and those are faster than quarter notes. But however fast you can play measure 30 and 31 is how fast you can play the rest of the tune. This is, as I was working on this tune, I'm like, doggone, that's going to be a challenge. So let's go at 30. Let's pretend they're all quarter notes. Okay, a lot of quarter notes here. From 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 5. Okay, and then you're going to let that ring for a while. Okay, so if we play it as if they're all quarter notes, we can probably pull it off. Let's play them a little bit faster. The key here will be going from your 7 and 8s to this 5 and getting your pinky on the 5 and then your middle finger on the 2. Okay, and getting enough note out of the 5 that it counts, okay, because our tendency will be, right, we don't want to do that. If you get your middle finger on for the 2 in measure 31, that first 2 measure 31, that gives you another little moment to get your 3 and your 2 on. G shape, right? It's a G7 chord, but that's not what the melody is telling us. The melody is saying G chord. Okay, and then make sure you let that ring a little bit. Now let's do the same thing, just a little bit faster. Ready? Play. little faster, and then a little bit faster than that. Okay, where you start. This is where technique matters. In classical music, technique matters. And so you can't do this with your thumb. Right? It's just not going to happen. Okay, I mean, it might, I guess, if you're really, really good with your thumb. But you want to have your claw shape on. Just forget the fact that you have 4 strings. Just play the bottom 3, thumb, index, middle. Let's try 30 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'll go on. Okay, but so whatever speed you can pull that off, that determines what speed you can play the rest of the song at. So oftentimes, especially with private students, and especially young private students, they want to go fast. They want to play everything fast, and then the problem is they get themselves in a pickle when they get to the tough spots. So with this piece, it says it's a dotted quarter note equals 60. You can play it slower than that if you have to. Whatever speed you can play 30 and 31 is, that determines the rest of the speed that you can play. Okay? And with classical music, unlike some of the other stuff we play, you really want to get your timing right. And so let's talk about how you would count something like this. Okay? So it's in 6/8. So normally when we conduct it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. More popularly known as 1, 2. 1, 2, or 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. That's how you would conduct it. As a musician, you're probably thinking that 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet. Okay, what we generally don't do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It gets too much counting, right? So think of it as 1, 2, 1, 2. First chord is a C, so let's grab that 3, and then probably play it thumb, index, and middle to get started with. Let's give it a try. Really slow. I'm going to just count everything as if it's a quarter note. Ready, play. Now, what do you do when you get here? You've been playing all 8th notes. This is 16th note, so it's got to be twice as fast. 2 up, 2 0, 2 0. So do that. And then go back to your 8th notes. 2, 3. I got caught up there, right? I went ahead and said, okay, I got a 2 and a 4. I can either play that with my middle and my pinky, which would have been a perfectly acceptable choice, but I thought, oh, I'll be smart. I'll move up to 2nd position. Now I'm going to play with my index and ring finger. The problem is I played 2, 4, and then I was surprised by that 2, and now I got to jump over and grab this 2. Just grab a mini bar chord, and then you're all set. Okay, measure 9, grab a mini bar on 2, and try that. 1, 2, ready, play. Middle finger on 3. Fun? It's really fun. Now, some of you took piano lessons as kids, and you're probably pretty likely that you played this song. I did. When I was 35-year-old kid, that was one of the first songs I played on piano, right? So, it should bring back memories for those of you who had piano lessons. 13, let's continue on. 2s and 4s. Okay, and again, you can play with a bar on 2 with your ring finger on 3, or you could play it with your middle finger and pinky. Okay, but be specific about what you're doing there. Are you playing in 2nd position with your ring finger, or are you playing in 1st position using your middle and pinky? Don't try to play in 1st position and stretch over with your ring finger. That is something you don't want to do, because as classical music, one of the things it's going to do is get real fast, real quick. Okay, you're about to see that when we get to measure 30, right? Or over on the next page. All right, measure 13, mini bar on 2, 4, and let's keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Pinky. Okay, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. Now here everything changes, right? Be up at 10. Oops, 10 to 7. 3. Back to 5. Okay. Now, those of you who are arrangers, you're thinking, what would happen if I didn't go all the way down there? What if I can play my 10s and my 7s here? Well, where's that 5? That 5 is inconveniently located down here on the first string. What if I moved it up to a 10 on the second string? What would happen there? Just for grins, try the 5 of the 10 on the second string. And then where would that put the 3? Two frets down. Okay, so now I played the whole thing on fret 7, 8, 9, and 10. I didn't use a 9. But when you get ready to do your final arrangement, be mindful that you want to be in 7th position for your tough axe arrangement. Okay, so your C chord, okay, is still these guys open, but now you can play it up here on 10. Okay, and there's your C chord dropping in there. Okay, isn't that fun? Okay, so in level 3, that's one of the things you start thinking about. If I'm going to be super busy going up and down the neck, maybe I'm going to take some of these lower notes and put them on the lower string and slide them up here so that I can get to them more conveniently. Hopefully that made some sense. Okay, so same thing at measure 20. Your pinky's on 10, your index finger's on 7. A 5 on this first string is really a 10 on the second string. 3 is 2 down. And then you've got this 5 on the 10 on the second string and the 7 on the first string. And now look what you can do. And you can play that little fancy thing there. And you've never ever left the 7th position. This is why I don't let you use a capo, because now what you're really doing is you have used your fingers to create a to move the net up to 7. You've played the whole thing up here. Much easier to play than going blum 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 blum, right? And so the fact that you haven't disconnected from the internet tells me you're ready to be that person. You're ready to be this. Right? And I don't move anything. Okay, beautiful. Now, obviously, the next section you can see, oh, we're all back to 3s and 1s, 0s and 1. Now you want to get out of that space. Okay, so measure 21, go down, get your 3, and play. You can feel the chord change. This is why you don't play the rest of that so fast, because now you've got to instantly be up here at 7, 7, 8 and do that twice as fast. Go. Okay, and I changed the melody just a tiny bit here to make it a little bit more playable, but not a lot, just enough to make it where like it's still going to sound cool. It's just a tiny bit of a difference. By the way, Morning Mood is a full symphonic arrangement, so yeah, we've already changed the notes. Okay, so 7, 7, 8, 7, 7, 7, 8, 10. Okay, so your pinky is going to hit that 10. Let's try that. Measure 28. Go. whoops, from 28. Ready, go. Okay, so I didn't do that well. Probably drop your middle finger to get that second 8. Try it one more time. Go. Okay, and then one more time. Okay, and this is a place where counting is going to be really critical to get it right, but to get it close, you can probably be just fine. Now we go to 30. We already learned 30, so let's do that. Ready, play. Okay, I blew it. Okay, and then to 32. A little bit of a folk music ending on it. I don't know how it actually. I don't know how the symphony really ends it, but we just put a nice little 1-6-4-5-7-1 ending on it to wrap it up. Now, if you have not grown up taking piano lessons, you may never have heard this song before, and that's going to happen a lot with classical music. We're going to be playing stuff you've never heard before. Take advantage of those MP3s over on the website. Don't neglect those. Go listen to it a half a dozen times or 10,000 times while you're staring at the sheet music. Okay, listening and reading the sheet music counts as practice. Okay, showing up to rehearsal does not count as practice. Doing the work behind the scenes, and we don't do that nearly enough. You guys are lucky to have the time to come and us play together. So already you're showing up to things, and that's amazing, right? That hopefully makes it easier for you. But the bigger issue is you need to know how the song goes, and the only way to know that is to listen to it a few times. Now, last thing we need to talk about. We've got 7 minutes to cover it. Let's talk about tough uke. Okay, let's go through and we'll do it until we run out of time. How about that? We've got about let's do 5 minutes worth anyway. First chord's a C. Okay. Now you got a problem, right? We've been playing the whole thing thumb, index, middle down here, but now we got to figure out, all right, well, maybe I need to use these 4 fingers, right? Or maybe I do a thumb, I don't know, but whatever you think is going to make sense for you, but put your 3 on, C chord underneath it. And then this, theoretically, when you're in 6/8, every 2 beats, or really on the 4th beat of every measure, you could put a new chord in. So you could put 0-0 here. Whoops. Okay, measure 2. No melody notes of 3. C chord underneath it. C chord underneath this. Okay. And you'll notice I'm not putting a chord underneath the 16th notes. I'm going to be busy enough when I get to those 16th notes. Don't put a chord underneath them. Okay, you might put one under the very first note of a 16th note run, but on these little decorative pieces, you're setting yourself up for failure if you put a chord underneath them. Measure 3, back to the C chord, and a 3 on the melody. Play. A minor chord, 0 on the top. That works out very good for us. Let's hit all 4 strings. 0-0-3 here. And then probably just play this 4th and 3rd string open. Okay. If you wanted, you could put in decorative notes in there. Bum. Right, or you could put in a couple of decorative notes after that. I'm probably not going to, but you could. Okay, let's play now. So we should be able to play measures 5. Well, we should be able to play all the way up until measure 8. So let's go for measure 5. C chord in the melody, 3 in the melody, C chord underneath. Ready? Play. where things get a little messy. You put your E7 chord on, and miraculously you're already holding down the melody note, which is a 2, and that's going to mean your pinky's using that 4. Remember how I say all the time, anytime you have a 4, use your pinky. Well, here's why, because you need to have some practice with it. Okay, E7, pinky, and then probably you have 3 choices. You could do this 4 and then pull it back to the 2, open. That's not very convenient. Okay, or you can bring your ring finger up. Right, could do that. You could bring your middle finger down. I don't really like that, but you could. Okay, so you've got to figure out what's going to work out the best for you there. But you probably want this full E7. Okay, you could abandon the chord altogether. And then, of course, the second beat in there after the 2-4-2, you've got a 0. So that's, again, part of your chord. So you probably don't want to move these two. You're probably going to pull this pinky back. Probably not going to pull your pinky back. You're probably going to lift up and cover it with your ring finger. So probably it's going to look like. Okay, and then a major 9 again. Major 9, play it. Now you got a mess, right? Because if you're playing tough, you got your ring finger on the 3 or on the 2, and your pinky up here on 4, and you got to get it down in 16th notes. And I'm ended up playing it on my middle finger over here. Whole thing is harder, way harder than you'd think. And with classical music, you can see why technique gets really, really important. Like, oh gosh, I got to get all my technique together and keep the timing correct. So again, you can't play too slow. You can play too fast. And so start off trying to be consistent, whatever speed it is. Bum, 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 ba-da, ba-da. Okay, or even slower. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-ba-da-bum-bum-bum. Okay, so just don't be shy about playing slow. And then I think that's really the advice I'll give you on doing your chord melody arrangement. As I was working on mine, it turns out that this is a very simple piece on piano, a little bit of melody, some very basic chords over here. You end up with a nice tune that we teach to kids. On ukulele, when we get ready to do a full chord melody arrangement, you're talking about level 3 type skills, right? The fact that you're going to hold an E7, put your pinky up here, move this over, get this out of the way, and then drop 16th notes in on it. Much harder skill, and actually quite enjoyable if you can get it right. So there we go. Morning mood. Hopefully that helps you get through the weekend with something to do. We'll cover this again on Monday. Hopefully, not Monday. Do we meet on Mondays? We don't meet on Mondays. Monday night, you're going to come meet with me for jazz on the ukulele. Tuesday we will cover this in more detail with the chord melody. So you got all the way till Tuesday at this time slot to get your chord melody arrangement together, and then we'll see how much else how much will compare, right? You'll compare your version and my version. Now, some of you aren't into doing the arrangements. Perfectly fine. I'll post my arrangement here. Probably Tuesday, 10 minutes before class, but I'll post it for you. There is a baritone version here. Everything's exactly the same exact problem set. So figure out what you can do with that if you're on baritone. A lot of times, guys, on classical, I would rather play on baritone because I just get a little bit more room on the fretboard, and I get a low note here, right? So, but there's a ukulele class, and so everything is going to work on ukulele. But sometimes it's just a little more pleasant to have the baritone voicing. So you do what you want. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see all y'all Monday night for Ukulele Orchestra. Check the website Monday by noon Denver time. Whatever's on there by noon Denver time is what's going to be on there. So I don't know. We'll see how the weekend goes and how much I can get on there Sunday and Monday morning. And I have not updated the Saturday and Sunday lessons for the last couple weeks. I'll try to get to it's going to happen next week sometime, so we'll do that. Hopefully you're having a wonderful time wherever you are, and that's what I know. Next half hour, we're in harmonica. I got to run brush my teeth, so I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next week. Oh, I forgot to do peace. Ronnie, Terry, Michelle, have a wonderful weekend. Everybody else have a wonderful weekend too.